See the little drops of water falling from her face. Mama, what's wrong now? I see the tear in her dress and the cuts on her feet. Was it me? Could it be that the only parts about me are the reason they hate all I see? As we flee, are her eyes telling me it'll be okay? Hope left in her eyes, getting stronger each day when I know she's by my side. When there's no one else to turn to, I know I can look up and see there's hope left in her eyes. I try to understand the reason we were forced to leave. Does it make sense now? You told me that I couldn't take all of the things that I need. Can we just go back into time? We feel pain, but the people only see what they want to see. Can it be? Let us breathe, set us free. But I find hope left in her eyes, getting stronger each day when I know she's by my side. When there's no one else to turn to, I know I can look up and see there's hope left in her eyes. Hope left in her eyes. Hope left in her eyes. So many questions left unanswered. All I need is the hope in her eyes. Thank you so much.
Let's give it up for Tara Chug. We always open our poetry series. We always open our poetry series events with music inspired by our featured poets through a partnership with Bushwick Book Club Seattle. Tara Chug performs throughout the West Coast and loves writing music for film and TV libraries. Tara is a Grammy U mentor and voting member of the Recording Academy. She is also the co-founder of Momentum Musician, which is an organization that helps independent artists gain industry knowledge and build confidence. Thank you so much, Tara, for writing an original song inspired by Li-Young Lee's poetry for tonight. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rebecca Hoogs, and I'm the Executive Director of Seattle Arts and Lectures. Welcome to the opening night of our poetry series in an event with Li-Young Lee. As we begin, I want to acknowledge that in Seattle, we stand on the traditional lands of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Duwamish, Suquamish, Stillaguamish, and Muckleshoot people. We recognize the stewardship of this land where we now live and work and the disruption of their care by colonization. We are committed to supporting and building relationships with Native communities through real action and learning about and featuring the work of Indigenous writers and thinkers. To learn more about our work in this area and our commitment to diversity, equity, and belonging, please visit lectures.org/about. Our huge thanks go to the many partners who have made this evening possible. Thanks to our seasoned presenting sponsor, the Seattle Times. Thank you to our haiku sponsor, the MFA in Creative Writing and Poetics, UW Bothell. And thank you to our bookseller and our partner in many ways, Open Books, a Poem Emporium. Please give them a round of applause. And thanks to all of you for joining us both in person and online. The format for tonight will be a reading by Li-Young Lee, followed by a conversation moderated by Jane Wong. Jane Wong is the author of the memoir, Meet Me Tonight in Atlantic City, and 2 books of poetry, How to Not Be Afraid of Everything from Alice James and Overpour from Action Books. Jane will weave your questions into the conversation by using the link in your pre-event email. We always begin our events with a reading by a writer from our youth programs. This year, we will work with more than 6,000 public school students at 37 public schools and at Seattle Children's Hospital. Tonight's poet, Zohal Akbari from Seattle World School, will be introduced by their writer-in-residence, Samar Abul-Hassan. Please join me in welcoming Zohal and Samar.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so honored to introduce Zohal Akbari from Seattle World School, who will commence our evening with her poem, inked last spring, but very much meant for this very night. In our weekly poem-making sessions together, Zohal's writing consistently felt close as skin, subtle yet palpable. She writes, "I write because I've always failed to express myself in verbal words," her elegant, careful handwriting glowing on the page. May your evening be powerfully lit by tonight's poets. Please welcome Zohal.
The darkest room of my chest. Lighting a candle in the darkest room of my chest, I found the unspoken words burning in the mortal fire. Stepped into this room of ruins, closer and closer to the heartbeat. Crying words, calling names, abundant names, lighting stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Zohal. Seattle Arts and Lectures' mission is to cultivate transformative experiences through story and language for readers and writers of all generations. Part of that transformation is meeting each other where we are, a greeting, so to speak, of the spirit and body. And with that in mind, we'd like to start this evening by asking you to introduce yourself to someone nearby who is new to you, and by answering the Sal question of the night, which is inspired by the question inspired by Li-Young Lee's work. And that question is, what is something that you have inherited? So we're going to bring the house lights up and take just 2 minutes for this moment of connection. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much for connecting with each other. It is now my great honor to introduce Li-Young Lee. It is a real honor to welcome Li-Young Lee back to the SAL Poetry Series. Li-Young Lee last visited SAL in February of 2008. I had just taken on the role of host for the Poetry Series, and Li-Young Lee was the very first poet whom I was honored to introduce and interview on stage. I distinctly remember sitting with you, Li-Young, on stage as I asked you a question, and instead of answering, you asked me what I thought. You turned the question back to me. Now, I had seen enough Q&As by then to know that this was not how it was supposed to go. I was the asker, and you, the poet, were the answerer, the font of wisdom and knowledge. But what I should have known to expect about Li-Young Lee is that he has always been and will always be someone who is an asker, a seeker of knowledge, a questioner. Li-Young Lee taught me more about his poetics in that subtle exchange, that quick rhetorical turnabout, than I had learned in reading infinite interviews in preparation for the event. We are here tonight to seek again, to question anew, as we celebrate the publication of his first book in 10 years, The Invention of the Darling. In this book, we return to his eternal wrestlings with family, exile, intimacy, and the divine. The Poetry Foundation, in a review of the book, noted that, quote, love for the world, for life, and what lies beyond human comprehension is the driving force behind Lee's poems, which meditate on mortality and the mysteries of life as they are manifest in nature, end quote. Lee himself has noted in an interview with Electric Lit that, quote, all of my poems are a dialogue between lover and beloved. The poems in the new book are both restless and still. The book is dedicated for, quote, all who wrestle with God, and the poems often have the song and sense of a kind of prayer or of a reaching beyond ego to something bigger. It has been an honor to be in dialogue with Li-Young Lee's poems as a reader over the course of his career, and an honor to get to continue that conversation tonight with you, an audience of lovers and beloveds both. So please join me in welcoming one of our greatest poets of mystery, elegy, and the divine to the stage, Li-Young Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, everybody, for coming. You know, when I was about 9 years old, I heard a sound. It was a human sound. My mother made it. It was something like that. I'm not doing it right. And I was smitten. I just was looking for that sound the rest of my life. And I have tried to write and make that sound in poems, which is ridiculous. Why would you use words to make a sound that has no words? I think the speechlessness of that sound is what I fell in love with. I think poetry comes from speechlessness. It comes from something like awe or astonishment. I think the three postures for me in poetry are, oh my love, oh my God, and holy, holy, holy. I just walk through the world, and the world just makes me say that, for better and worse. I mean, there are many ways to say, oh my God, right? You can say it with so much love, or you could say it in horror, seeing things. But it's this speechlessness that I've been trying to replicate in words. So I'm going to read to you, I think, some of those attempts from the first book. From the first book till now, I'll just read to you. This is a poem about braiding my wife's hair, and of course it's about death, because it's all about death. This is called Braiding. 1. We two sit on our bed, you between my legs, your back to me, your head slightly bowed, that I may brush and braid your hair. My father did this for my mother, just as I do for you. One hand holds the hem of your hair, the other works the brush. Both hands climb as the strokes grow longer, until I use not only my wrists, but my arms, then my shoulders, my whole body, rocking in a rower's rhythm, a lover's even time, as the tangles are undone, and brush and bare hand run the thick, fluent length of your hair, whose wintry scent comes, a faint, human musk. This next section, the 71 Negli, is a bus. 2. Last night the room was so cold, I dreamed we were in Pittsburgh again, where winter persisted and we fell asleep in the last seat of the 71 Negli, dark mornings going to work. How I wish we didn't hate those years while we lived them. Those were days of books, days of silences stacked high as the ceiling of that great dim hall where we studied. I remember the thick oak tabletops, how cool they felt against my face when I lay my head down and slept. 3. How long your hair has grown. Gradually, December. 4. There will come a day, one of us will have to imagine this. You, after your bath, cross-legged on the bed, sleepy, patient, while I braid your hair. 5. Here, what's made, these braids, unmakes itself in time and must be made again, within and against time. So I braid your hair each day. My fingers gather, measure hair, hook pull and twist hair and hair, deft, quick, they plight, weave, articulate, lock and lock, to make and make these braids, which point the direction of my going, of all of our continuous going. And though what's made does not abide, my making is steadfast, and besides, there is a making of which this making in time is just a part, a making which abides beyond the hands which rise in the combing, the hands which fall in the braiding, trailing hair in each stage of its unbraiding. 6. My love, how the hours accumulate, uncountable. The trees grow tall. Some people walk away and diminish forever. The damp, pewter days slip around without warning, and we cross over 1 year and 1 year. This is from the second book. This is called This Room and Everything in It. You know, this poem fails. I set out to say everything that was forbidden. I know there's a lot of stuff that's said between lover and beloved that's disallowed in society. I don't just mean the erotic stuff. I mean the intimacy, like that there's a tone or something that's disallowed in, I don't know, the disallowance kept me from striking gold with this next poem. But this is called This Room and Everything in It. Shall I wait for the phone to turn off? This is called This Room and Everything in It. Lie still now while I prepare for my future. Certain hard days ahead when I'll need what I know so clearly this moment. I am making use of the one thing I learned of all the things my father tried to teach me, the art of memory. I am letting this room and everything in it stand for my ideas about love and its difficulties. I'll let your love cries, those spacious notes of a moment ago, stand for distance. Your scent, that scent of spice and a wound, I'll let stand for mystery. Your sunken belly is the daily cup of milk I drank as a boy before morning prayer. The sun on the face of the wall is God. The face I can't see, my soul. And so on. Each thing standing for a separate idea. And those ideas forming the constellation of my greater idea. And one day, when I need to tell myself something intelligent about love, I'll close my eyes and recall this room and everything in it. My body is estrangement. This desire, perfection. Your closed eyes, my extinction. Now I've forgotten my idea. The book on the windowsill, riffled by wind. The even-numbered pages are the past, the odd-numbered pages the future. The sun is God, your body is milk, useless, useless. Your cries are song. My body's not me. No good. My idea has evaporated. Your hair is time. Your thighs are song. It has something to do with death. It had something to do with love. I have to check the time. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. This is why we don't have nice things, okay? Third book. I don't remember what the third book. Here we go. Okay. This is a tiny one. This is called One Heart. One heart. Okay, let me try this. I can't get this right. Okay, let me try this. Look at the birds. Even flying is born out of nothing. The first sky is inside you, open at either end of day. The work of wings was always freedom, fastening one heart to every falling thing. Let me try that again. Okay, here we go. All right, I think I found the secret. I think I'll open every poem this way. Okay. Look at the birds. Even flying is born out of nothing. The first sky is inside you, open at either end of day. The work of wings was always freedom, fastening one heart to every falling thing. Oh, like that, maybe. Thank you. I'll skip this one. I'll skip to this poem. This is a poem, a love poem I wrote to God. I fell in love with God early on. That has just made my life hard. Being in love with God, well, what does that even mean? You and I are going to have to talk about that, Jane. But this is called I Loved You Before I Was Born. We've all had that feeling, right? I just state the obvious. I've made a whole living saying the obvious. You understand? I don't want to say anything new. I just want to say the obvious. I want to point to the obvious, Like rug, chair, right? So we've all had this feeling, right? I loved you before I was born. It doesn't make sense, I know. I saw your eyes before I had eyes to see, and I have lived longing for your every look ever since. That longing entered time as this body, and the longing grew as this body waxed, and the longing grows as this body wanes. that longing will outlive this body. I loved you before I was born. It makes no sense, I know. Long before eternity, I caught a glimpse of your neck and shoulders, your ankles and toes, and I've been lonely for you from that instant. That loneliness appeared on earth as this body, and my share of time has been nothing but your name outrunning my ever saying it clearly, your face fleeing my ever kissing it firmly once on the mouth. In longing, I am most myself, wrapped, my lamp mortal, my light hidden and singing. I give you my blank heart. Please write on it what you wish. Thank you. I'm going to try it with this poem. I'm going to start doing readings that way. This is called "Oh Hummingbird, Don't Go." It's 3 sections. 1. Oh, hummingbird. That was too much. Okay. It's harder than you think. Okay. All right. If we get it right, it'll be amazing. Oh, hummingbird. Why is the universe looking for you? Here you are, the jewel of jewels in the universe's belly button. Here you are, bearing the universe on the top of your head, one feather of your iridescent crown. Oh, hummingbird, why is the Milky Way looking for you? Here you are, the stillest eye at the heart of the Milky Way. And here is the Milky Way, the tear in your eye when you remember home. Oh, hummingbird, why does time seek you? Why is all of space expanding to find you? Oh, master of space, you enter where there are no doors, and you exit where all the doors are locked. And here you are, the tear-shaped pendant all of space keeps between its breasts. All tears are made in your image. Oh, hummingbird, at time's crest, in time's trough, you are time's plaything. And time won't find anything in its quest for you but your last disguise. A little haste in living color, a bit of hurry in someone's telling of a story. And yet, oh, master of stillness and motion, you are time's mother, and time is your initiate. For you are the mother of all fletched things. You are the bell, and you are the peal. You are the prompt, ignition, initial, and report. Oh, hummingbird, why is eternity looking for you? Here you are, the green earring dangling between eternity's lips. 2. Oh, hummingbird, the universe is in love with you. You, the quick itself, you, the darting pupil of whose eye? Only death loves you as much as the universe loves you. That's why your heart races. Oh, hummingbird, the Milky Way is in love with you. The Milky Way lies awake all night, yearning for you. Oh, shining-headed one, oh, feathered sacrum, scaly, tufted engine, revving and insane for sugar. Only death yearns for you as constantly as the Milky Way yearns for you. Only death knows you by as many names. Oh, sweet percent, oh, ratio of ratios. That's why you make your body a pyre, your hunger a cauldron, and you cook your heart. Oh, hummingbird, the earth is in love with you. See how morning gazes at you. See how evening lingers for a look at you. You bright knell struck from rock, you vaulting note, you note leaping out of the mouth of the volcano. From the moment it was born, the earth has done nothing but call your name. The earth was made in your image. You are the earth's destiny, and my beloved and I are your secret audience. You are the small of her back, and you are her wrist, turning over the cards to show me my future. And only death loves us as much as the earth loves us. Only death finds us as precious. That's why our hearts burn, unquenched, unconsumed, alive. That's why I can hear your heart from here. 3. This is the last section. There you are, oh hummingbird, don't go. Oh, green glimpse, blue clasp to the hour's locket, blurred hem of the invisible. I waited for you. In your stillness, hovering in perfect place, you are the bird most like a flower, and your stem-like beak seems to spout from the narrow throat of the open blossom you plunder. In your quickness and flurry, you are the moment missed, the lost hour, oh pulse, spark, syllable, token of the sun, fetish, charm, flint to my mind's dull edge, key to this morning's secret door. Is it true what some say about you? Is it true you were a soldier once in the war for dominion between the winged and the unwinged? Is it true you gave up offices, titles, and thrones to follow a path of nectar? Is it true when you heard the immense sadness in the voices of the stars leaving faster every year, you mistook it for music? You copied it down, played it for God, and now that's all God wants to hear? Once I called the ocean my mother and father, but the ocean told me, I am not your mother and father. The hummingbird is your mother and father, as the hummingbird is my mother and father. Once I called the mountains my mother and father, but the mountains told me, we are not your mother and father. The hummingbird is your mother and father, as the hummingbird is our mother and father. Once I called the stars my mother and father, but the stars told me, we are not your mother and father. The hummingbird is your mother and father, as the hummingbird is our mother and father. Is it true? You are the hub of all worlds, the rock of ages, mother and father of everything. Is it true you discovered the prime numbers? You taught humans the uses of fire, and yours was the first tribe? Is it true you witnessed the creation of the world and barely survived to tell about it? Is it true you travel back and forth between the living and the dead to collect the nectar of both worlds? O master of the veils, is it true you saw through the one, the three, and the many, and now you do nothing but feed on God's best parts? Pollen smudged between your eyes and on your chin, you bear the Lord's seal upon your dark brow and bright breast, the way to the nectar inscribed upon your heart. O quintessence, feathered inkling, my gem, fled tenant of my heart's perch, don't go. I've heard you've been to the promised land. Show me the way there, over the 7 mountains and through the 7 valleys. Thank you. I'll read 2 more poems, and then Dante said to be a great poet, you have to have infant longing. I loved that. I just thought, yeah, infant longing. I mean, I've suffered from it my entire life. Here's a poem about that. It recalls anyway, I'll just read it. I repeat this phrase. It says, who will roll the stone from the mouth of the tomb for us? Does anybody know where that comes from? Nobody reads that anymore. But anyway, one of the most important women in literature said that, and it just knocks me out every time I hear it. This is infant longing. It's a love poem again. And it's about the end of the world. Every morning I wake up, I feel like I'm looking at the end of the world. And my mother saw the end of the world 3 times. She buried people, buried children. This is called infant longing. Because to God must be given the things that belong to God, and to the world must be given the things that belong to the world, I kiss you with both lips, upper and lower. Because the world keeps beginning and ending the same way, with the slaughter of the innocent, with the massacre of the blameless, and there's not a thing anyone can do. Oh, who will roll the stone from the mouth of the tomb for us? I kiss you thus, because the world ended with my mother walking among the slaughtered to find her own. I kiss you thus, because the world began with my mother finding among the slaughtered her own and burying them. And when I was hungry and crying in her arms, she stopped my mouth with her breast, and she fed me her longing at the end of the world. And when I wouldn't stop crying in her arms, she bared her other breast to my mouth, and she fed me her longing at the beginning of the world. It's like you kissing my mouth to seal my mouth, like you kissing my mouth to open my mouth, like you kissing my mouth to open my eyes, like you kissing my mouth to close my eyes. What's the difference between these kisses? Who will roll the stone from the mouth of the tomb for us? The round stone, the square tomb. When we kiss, when the upper and lower in me meet the upper and lower in you. When what is high is humbled and what is low is raised, when the round stone of time is rolled away from the square space of earth, you and I see what comes before the beginning and after the end, an infinite longing moving over the face of the deep. I'll read this last poem. Thank you very much for your patience. This is what it's like being in love with God. This is called Unleavened. Unleavened. Tell me plainly, love, why call me by name to your bedchamber, only to say, lie down in death? Why break a vial? One thing. I don't know if you know what a beer is, B-I-E-R. Not a beer you drink, but you put a dead person on a beer, a funeral, like a funeral pyre. In the Orthodox tradition of Christianity, you crawl under the corpse of the beloved. That's what I reference in here. I'm sorry, I'll start over. Unleavened. Tell me plainly, love, why call me by name to your bedchamber, only to say, lie down in death? Why break a vial, spill its perfume, fill the room with fragrance, only to place in my hands a broken reed and a sputtering lamp, and then declare, these are mine, now they're yours to care for. A glimpse of your shoulder, and I set down my glass of wine. A passing look from you, and I left a table of friends. You said my name, and I walked out alone into the night to find you, only to be told your bed is a bier and a bridge, and to kiss you, I must pass beneath it on my knees and elbows. A breeze blew across your body and brought to me the odor of roses. I followed that scent to you, only for you to show me your body is a red and open-petaled wound, through which spiraling golden cavity I saw the mint impressed upon your heart. Why whisper into my ear sweet words, which upon my understanding age me 100 years and rattle my dry bones? Why teach me phrases by placing on my tongue honeyed syllables, which upon my swallowing embitter my bowels? You leave me unfit for human company. I starve, and I can't stomach anything but water and unleavened bread. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Lee Young. I had many notes and questions prepared, but they've all tumbled into a giant crevasse with lots of rocks tumbling because I was so deeply transfixed by your reading just now, and so many new thoughts and expansiveness has just entered my heart and mind. I kind of want to start by where you started. And I think there's a line actually from The Invention of the Darling where you say, start over, start over, start over. And you started with that sound that keeps escaping you in terms of holding it, and like that gasp that you gave us while reading. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but sometimes, now that I feel like my questions had fallen into a giant crevasse, I feel an echo, I guess. And so would everyone in the audience maybe make a sound, that sound, maybe, and see how it feels to hear it echoed too in some way, like that gasp, or I don't know what to call it.
The difficulty, Jen.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh, the mic.
You know, the difficulty with the whole thing is I'm trying. Why would anybody aspire to this? I'm trying to write just one poem that is heard just above a whisper, just above a whisper. And it can say the most horrible things, and it can say the most beautiful things. But I want to just, you know what happened was, when I was much younger, I was on the road a lot. And there was a style of reading, a lot of projection. I just thought, this is bullshit. What the hell? What is this public whoa thing? No. That's not what. It's so private when you write the poem. It's so private. For me, I know there is the oratorical voice, the big epic voice. I know that. I know that there's the dramatic voice. I know all of that. You know, but the lyric, the lyric.
Go off on the lyric, Leung.
You know, I write verse. Verse means turn. So you turn. So you turn and you turn and you turn, right? I, as a child, like an idiot, I said, well, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I turn, all right? So we turn. This turning creates a spiral. Every poem is a spiral. Every poem is a spiral. You enter the mind of God whether you know it or not. That spiral is everywhere. It's in the human body, whether you know it or not. I have a suspicion it's the very shape of interest. It's the very shape of attention. You know, we go down rabbit holes, right? This spiral is everything. For the human, you know. But here's the thing. Like an idiot, I thought, well, I write verse, so I'll take the universe as my paradigm. That thing which turns about one thing. That's what universe means. That thing which turns about one thing. I thought, okay, that sounds like love. So I get it. It's all about love, right? Turn about one thing. Just one thing. Now, that's the whole thing, right? So you turn. But see, there's this other I talked, I don't even remember, this morning at the high school. Was anybody here from there? I don't want to repeat myself. There are all these patterns. They're foundational patterns to poetry. To verse. I'm not talking about experimental poetry. I'm talking about the way poetry in the West was handed down to us from the biblical chivalric tradition. Okay, that tradition used to be very strong. I don't know what happened to it. The generation right before me kind of didn't use it. But the generation before them, which is the generation I really loved, they were into it, you know. But I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. But here are the founding patterns in poetry. That's the first pattern, the spiral pattern, the turning. Verse, it's turning, right? So you study turning. You study all kinds of turning. Now, the alchemical turning is the most interesting turning. The alchemical turning is lead to gold, gold to lead, right? Good man to bad man. Fascinating. Lead to gold. Bad man to good man, right? This. repentance, turning of the heart. This turning, this alchemical turning led to gold, repentance, whatever you want to call it, right? You suddenly remember your mission, right? Each of us is here on a mission from God, and we forget. If you believe that, you know, but so this remembering, remembrance. This remembrance is fascinating. This remembrance is, there's like national remembering, family remembering, cultural remembering. This remembering, this turning back is very important. But the deepest possible remembering that we receive from all the great religious traditions is remembering your origin, right? That's the thing to remember. But it's encoded in poetry, in the pattern. Every line is capitalized. So you return to the origin, right? We don't use that convention now. But anybody who knows anything knows we don't use the convention, but it's implied. The reason it's implied is because when you have that big lurking thing, it clutters the field. Do you understand this? And here's the thing, something really fascinating. The overemphasis on the fixity of the origin causes trouble. But at the same time, it's power. It gives you power. Movement comes out of fixity. If I stand up, you see my body going up. What you don't see is my feet pushing down. You can't stand up without pushing down. You can't. The harder to the floor, the easier for me to stand up. The softer the floor, the harder for me to stand. So the softer, the more murky we are about origins, it's hard to emotion, out of motion, right? Poetry courts the biggest chaos. To handle the biggest chaos, you need a frame. The intensity of chaos. You don't fuck around with chaos. You don't think, let's have some fun. You know, that's chaos. No. I saw chaos up close. My neighbor was standing there with a machete, his body covered in sweat and blood, and saying, I have to drink your blood, Mr. Lee. Said that to my father. This was a kid who played with my sister. He played with my sister. They were the same age. Something snapped. Everybody went crazy. They were killing Chinese. They were handing out machetes. I saw chaos. You don't want to fuck with chaos. But poetry, maybe all art, is a way to stand right at the lip of chaos. But in order to survive it, you need a framing device. You can't send young artists into that chaos without a framing device. Poetry is the most beautiful, intense, strong framing device with the return to the origin and the examination of the turning at the end. The count in poetry is much higher. The turning in words is much tighter. You read an Emily Dickinson poem, her words are the words are turning on a dime. That's what makes them difficult. Okay, it's only this turning. If you understand this turning, you'll get it. This is going to enrage you. In about 1000 AD, a woman invented this amazing thing. She invented the sonnet. A woman invented it. She looked around. At the time, this was in Occitania. I think there were like 7 families, rich families, that were running Occitania, and they had soldiers. These soldiers were just running rampant. They were just complete assholes, right? Just running rampant through the. And so this brilliant woman says, we got to find a way to civilize these crazy males. This whole country is overrun with dangerous males, right? So she came up with this beautiful thing, the chivalric tradition. She said, when a man asks for a woman's hand, she has to say, you need to do these things. You need to give alms. You need to take somebody out of poverty. You need to rescue somebody from tyranny. And you need to write a sonnet to prove to me you know the sacred, divine import of the feminine. Wow. So the idiot knight or soldier would say, oh, why 14? She would say, out. Get out. If you don't know the significance of the number 14, get out. Right? That is a sacred number. It's embodied in the feminine. This is why we celebrate Valentine's Day on the 14th of February. The reason why February has 28, 29 days, it's a fluctuating month. We celebrate on the 14th. These are fertility. This is fertility knowledge. This is old knowledge. Right? The old mothers knew this. Right? So she made this chamber. She said, it's 14 chambers. Now, this is crazy. You see how organic that is? A 14-chambered nautilus, right? That's what a sonnet is, right? A 14-chambered nautilus. Along comes the Pope. He kills off these guys. I mean, he did some good things too, but he kills off all the Occitanians. He steals this sonnet. He takes it to Italy. He says, Lentini, some Italian guy. I love Italians. I married an Italian. But they didn't invent the sonnet. Now they say Lentini invented it, right? A guy invented it. And now they're saying, man, it was an arbitrary form. Now, you know what they're saying? It can be 13 lines. It can be 15 lines. The sonnet is arbitrary. Arbitrary? I'm talking about embodied poetics, not disembodied poetics. You know what disembodied theories get you? It gets people killed. Embodied politics, embodied poetics, right? In the body, right? This is a form. This hand is a form. The sonnet is a form, right? It's a replication of a form. So the Italians, now, what do they call a stanza? A room. A room. What do you like, chamber or room? I like chamber. I like nautilus. I don't like house. What about you? I don't know. I like houses too. I don't live in a nautilus thing. I don't know why I'm ranting and raving here. What is going on here? But okay, so
Wow.
the sonnet has sacred roots. It's embedded. Do you understand this? It's embedded. Nobody sat there and said, you know what? I don't know, maybe 21 and a half lines. That's kind of arbitrary and cool. Why don't we do that? And everybody agrees because we're all idiots. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. There was a reason why. Do you know how far that woman went to define the sonnet? This is what she said. She said, there are 14 generations. The sonnet is a decidedly biblical, Western chivalric tradition. She said, there are 14 generations. If you want to marry me, this is what Eleanor of Occitania said, if you want to marry me, you need to know there were 14 generations. You need to, first of all, know number 14 is embedded in the woman's body. You need to know there were 14 generations from Abraham to, no, I'm not remembering it right now, maybe Moses to David, the poet. The poet, David. From the poet David to the destruction of the temple, 14 generations. 14 generations from the destruction of the temple to the greatest poet in the West, Jesus Christ. The greatest fucking poet in the West. Forget all the other ones. Homer, nothing. No. Dante, forget it. Forget it. You know what Dante did? Christ would say something so encapsulated. Dante would say, heaven, purgatory, hell. It's like, no, Jesus was talking like this. You understand this? So this 14 thing was very important. It had sacred.
What about Shakespeare?
Why? I think I'm gonna.
Shakespeare is all about the turning.
I heard Shakespeare in what you read. So
I might.
Can you pick up the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Oh my
might-
God.
I might try.
Shakespeare. Oh my God, Shakespeare.
I think we might
Oh my
be going
God.
down a Shakespeare rabbit hole a little bit.
Huh? Yeah, no. Wait. Macbeth. Right. The king says, which way is the battle turning? It's all about turning. Lear, right?
Yes.
Which
The turn.
The
Hold
guy
on.
says, which way is the king turning? I thought he was going to turn that way. Nobody knows which way he's turning. He turns crazy. That's what he turns, right? And the other thing is this. How about Cordelia's? How about her speechlessness? That was some speechlessness, right? Cordelia's speechlessness. Was it Cordelia? Is that her name? The daughter who doesn't. Cordelia or Ophelia? They all sound the same. What is it? Cordelia, Ophelia. Do they sound the same? Cordelia. Yeah, her speechlessness. Whoa. The only speechlessness that was as great as that was the Christ speechlessness. Right? That was just, that speechlessness, man. Just inflecting that, just that, right? Hers was like a kind of an outrage, like, right? No, it was deeper than that. I just choked, that's all. But yeah, Shakespeare's all turning, right? Midsummer Night, the sex comedy, yeah, right? They're all turning into each other. It's like, what is that about? Oh, he was an alchemist. No. Romeo and Juliet. Hey, this is crazy. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we out of time? I'm sorry.
Oh no. A lot of things are going through my brain right now in terms of the turns, and also I was thinking about like that question you had in one of your poems. I think it's the cleaving, which is, and what is this I excavate with my mouth, and that like gasp there too, and this like, I don't know, deep love, obsession with inherited form, and the necessity and the sacredness of the sonnet. I'm going in history. I'm going into, I don't know, rage right now. I feel turned around literally by this conversation, and I've never been turned around as a moderator before. And I thank you for this, Lee Young, because I'm literally like, woo! Oh my God! And wow, yes, just wow. And I have never seen anyone speak with that dedication and just intensity about the lyric, and I'm so grateful for that kind of deep commitment to that, and especially that O, like I was thinking about in Oh Hummingbird, or to carry what we love inside, like all of the O's in your poem, that constant O, that constant desire to call out and to exclaim forward and to connect, like all of that to me is kind of that central space of longing, that infinite longing that you speak about. And I guess maybe in my swirling right now, a kind of question is,
I'm sorry.
no, drink water. Here, I can open this for you.
No, I have allergies, you guys. I'm sorry.
Yes.
In the fall, it's like infinite longing.
Infinite
You know
longing.
what? Yeah, you know what? The troubadours knew this stuff. The people who invented, the woman who invented the sonnet. Check this out. She's so brilliant. You know. So she mentions this thing. And she says, in the book of Genesis, right? God made the world in 6 days and rested. And she says, he rested? Was God tired? It's a musical rest. Oh! Oh my, that's like shot through the heart. A musical rest. The Sabbath is a musical rest. I have been trying to build this Sabbath. Every poem should end in this profound rest. The great prophet of love, in the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, all he does is circle the Sabbath. Go read, all he does is circle the Sabbath. He just circles that great rest. That great rest. Bach was after that. Beethoven was after that. Yusef Days is after that. You know? Mansur Brown is after that. That musical rest. That deep, deep rest. The deepest possible rest. Now, here's the thing, though. It has to be built. It's an invention. I'm saying this in the best way. It's an invention. It has to be made, just like love. Love has to be invented. You're not born knowing how to love. We need to learn how to love. That's what the sonnet teaches. It teaches us how to love. But it teaches us the first step to love is you love the womb. You love the sacred womb and its best fruit. This is Eleanor of Occitania saying the best fruit of Mary was Jesus. That's her. If you don't believe that, you can still say the best, the highest fruit, right? We get this word worship. Worship comes from worthship, right? You know, look, my father was preaching the gospel in Indonesia. And they said, stop. And he said, no. So they threw him in jail. They said, stop. He said, no. So they tortured him. They said, stop. He said, no. He said, okay. We're going to we're rounding everybody up, your entire family. He wouldn't stop. Now, for years I held that against him. I said, really? Really? A book? A book over your family? But the older I get, the more I realize, if I don't find something worth dying for, I don't know what's worth living for. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not saying something worth killing for. I mean something worth dying for. Don't make that mistake. They're different. You know, there are plenty of things we think are worth killing for. No, I mean something really worth dying for, you know, because that's what worthship is. And that's what turning is. That's what the universe is doing. It is turning about one thing. And that's my paradigm. Ridiculous, right? I know. What are you going to do? Yes. Oh. Thank you. Thank you.
I keep thinking too, and thinking about that turning and that turning and turning. Like, I know when we were talking right before this event, I had mentioned that, you know, across all of your books, which thank you so much for reading from across many years and many books, that I feel often when I read your poems, like there is this giant bird or hawk, because there's so many wings also in your poems, that keeps circling and circling and circling. And there's almost like you can see, I think about like a hawk, and there is something at the bottom or like prey or something, but it's about the circling. It's not actually about getting it. It's the longing for it. It's the looking for it. And, you know, in your new book, in The Invention of the Darling, there's so many eyes, and there's so much of the gaze here. And I think so much of crafting a poem, is what I'm hearing from you, is about that looking and that attention to it, the attention, the dedication to the longing, to that constant return again and again. And there's almost a kind of like continual recursiveness, like even when you were listening all to, the poem with the hummingbird in it, that almost lullaby quality of like the ocean, I thought the ocean was like my mother and my father. No, the hummingbird is my mother and father. And it repeated again and again. And I feel often when I read your poems, a kind of swirlingness too. And I'm just curious, maybe, in thinking about craft and thinking about that form and thinking about that desire for that rest note, what it's like to long in the act of writing. Because you also have some long poems, Lee Young, too, which I absolutely love. There's almost like there's inescapable desire to touch the thing, but almost you don't want to as well. I don't know if that made any sense.
No, I want to touch the
Okay,
thing.
you want, okay, all right.
No,
okay.
I'm
Okay, all right,
trying.
okay.
I am trying so hard
Yeah.
to touch
Yeah.
across. I love that that line from Rilke. What does he say? That bridge. He's talking about touching across, and he says, "The bridge that reached across barely bent," or something like that. So beautiful. This longing has to do with the structure of definitions. Anybody who writes poetry, if you deal with the word, you have to deal with the structure of definitions. The structure of definitions says this: here's the word, and here are all the definitions for the word. But here's the rule. The word must never appear in the definitions. Right? But every letter, every word, every dotted I, every crossed T, every space between the words, everything in that definition side, every speck gets its entire being and significance from the word that must never appear. This relation, the troubadours said, get used to it. This is the relation between lover and beloved, and the lover of God and God. Your entire being, every cell of me, every hair, every breath, every intake, everything about me is turned toward the beloved, who will never appear, can't appear. What happens when the beloved appears? Worlds get destroyed, right? Definitions get nullified. You can't define. You can't. That's exactly what happens in the four great books in the West: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The Word appears, and what happens? Worlds start to fall apart, right? But the people who are living in those worlds don't know they're falling apart. They don't know it. It's over. The old regime is gone. Love has come. Love is here now. It's over. We wish, right? But that's what the story is. That's what the story is, right? That when the word comes, it's all the definitions. But we live all in the definition side. So that's where the longing comes from, Jane. That's who we are. That's what we are. Yeah.
I love that. And I love, too, thinking about it in terms of the kind of definition being you can't say it, but it's like there. Knowing that it's there, that beloved. And I'm thinking, too, there's a line of yours where you say, whether or not you remember you were there. And I'm like, what? But yes. And just this question earlier that we all talked about, what have you inherited, right? Or, it's everything. It's been there this whole time. You were there when you didn't even know you were there, right? And so I think there's something about, you write so beautifully about memory in particular in all of the work you've written, all your books. And to me, memory is it's almost like the space in which infinite longing really settles into its bones, because in memory, that infinite longing, you're always trying to remember something before it slips away from you, and yet you feel like you're still holding it, even though it's slipping from you at all times. And I think in so many of your poems about grief and loss and exile, there's always this feeling like you remember, don't you? But also knowing that it's going to slip away and that it's going to kind of leave. It's a grief. It is that life and death kind of moment of a memory too, and what it means to hold it. I think so much of your work for me as like a reader and somebody who you were the first poet I ever like heard literally on a stage in New Jersey at the Dodge Poetry Festival, and I was like, must follow this voice. And I was like, what's going on here? And I think so much of it is you're holding so much of that longing, holding so much of that, like being in love with God, with the sublime. You hold things and you don't let it go as best you can. I don't know if this is saying anything. It's not a question per se, but just like, thank you for holding. I don't know, everybody in this audience, when you were reading, we were all like, I don't know about you, but my breath was like held. Like I felt the release of just like that last line when you read. I feel like this is maybe something I've been holding in me, this emotion. You said it very simply. You said, this is what we all think about, rug, chair, like love, God. Isn't it so simple? But yet, when you hold it through poetry, through language, through the lyric, through the making, I feel it. I feel like it's embodied.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. It is 9 p.m. I don't know how we ended to this space. I think there is one kind of, it's more of a request. I don't know. Are you taking like requests from the, I don't know. Okay, someone requested you read The City in Which I Love You. It's one of my favorite poems. When I arrived at 18 in this country, it was a balm and a permission and a memory. So, I don't know.
You know, that poem takes
A long time, yeah.
to read. Thank you so much for that, though, whoever asked.
Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned the poem, I'll just say this.
Yeah.
I circle that in the city in that poem, right? And of course, it was a reference to the way the great prophet of love circles the Sabbath. But I was circling a shitty city, you know, so that was, I was trying to, it's so weird. So much of my work is encoded, like in the Bible, and nobody reads the Bible anymore, so nobody's gonna understand the references. I don't know what to do about that. And now nobody even reads the Troubadours. But anyway, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leon. Thank you all so much tonight. Please go get your book signed, please, by Lee Young in the back. Thank you so much for being here. And yay, Sal, always. Thank you. Wow. I am kind of